Do you have to give a presentation to executives? If so, how do we make sure that they go well? Well, that's what we're going to talk about coming up right now. Welcome everyone, Michael Finley here with another episode of Leadership Roll Call, where we give you tips, suggestions, and recommendations on how you can become a more effective leader. Our topic today is how to give an executive presentation. This is part one of a four-part series. In our role as a leader, we are often called upon to give a presentation to senior executives. Now, this could be to inform them about the status of a project. It could be to make a decision. It could be to sell them on something. It could be to persuade them to do something. So we have to give a presentation to senior executives. And for some, this can be quite challenging. But what we're going to talk about is ways that you can do to make sure that your presentations are effective. We need to do presentations well. The first part is to achieve what we're trying to do, to persuade or to sell them or to get what we want. If we do an effective presentation, that happens. But it also, when we give an effective presentation, it elevates our profile and it could help with our careers. Conversely, if we give a bad presentation, it could damage our careers. So you can see why the need to give a good presentation is an effective tool that you have as a leader. So how do we give an effective presentation? Well, the first phase of this is preparation. Now, I know that doesn't sound very glamorous, but this is the foundation on which your presentation is built on. And if we mess this up, then our presentation is sunk. So what do we mean by preparation? The first thing we do in our preparation phase is we learn everything we can about our audience. Now, if it's just to your boss, that's fine. Hopefully you know your boss pretty well. But what if it's to their boss or other people that you don't really know? We need to know everything we can about our audience. What is their skill level? What is their level of expertise? What do they know or don't know? We need to find out every single thing we can about our audience. Is there something that you're going to try to sell that will damage another person and maybe get pushback from them? So we need to find out every single thing that we can about our audience. When we find out everything we can about our audience, it just helps us better prepare for the presentation. So maybe they already know about a certain part that you were going to brief them in. You can just cut that part out. Or maybe they don't know, or maybe they're not well informed about a certain area, and you can beef up that area a little bit during your presentation. But by finding out everything that we can about our audience, it just, again, it sets that foundation to have a successful presentation. So how do we learn about this group? Well, just like a sports team, we need to do some scouting. We need to ask people that have presented before them before. What were they like? What were their pet peeves? Did they interrupt? Did they cut short your time? We need to find out everything we can about them by asking others. And not just one person. We need to ask as many people as we possibly can about what this group is going to be like. Your boss is probably one that knows them pretty well. Ask them. Ask some of their peers. Do everything you can to ask those questions to find out what this group is like. Next in your preparation, you want to find out what your timeline is. How much time are you given? Now, I don't know how many presentations you've given, but I've given quite a few, and I can tell you that whatever time they give you, you're probably not going to get that time. So it's best to have the mindset is if they give you an hour to give a presentation, cut it in half. Design your presentation to last 30 minutes. The most important asset a senior executive has is their time. And if you cut your presentation in half, number one, you're prepared if they do it for you. But number two, if you cut your presentation in half, so you give it 30, you're given an hour and you only give it in 30 minutes. This allows more questions, more time for them to ask questions on. And if it doesn't, then they have more of their day back and it will impress them. So find out what your timeline is and it helps you design your presentation. Lastly, the thing we want to do in our preparation phase is to find out what location we're giving this presentation in. Is it a big room? Is it a small room? What is the size of the screen? What does the seating area look like? Is it going to be well lit or not well lit? Is there going to be a computer there or do you need to bring a laptop? If there's going to be a computer there, do you need to bring a USB drive, or do you need to email it to the person that's putting this meeting together? We want to find out every single thing we can about where we're giving this presentation. So you need to find out the size of the room. I'll give you an example. If you're giving it in a small room, very intimate, then maybe the screen's not going to be that big. But if you're giving it in a large ballroom, maybe the screen is going to be bigger and people in the back row can see things. So we need to find out everything we can about the location, and it helps us to be more prepared and helps us design our presentation a little bit better. This preparation phase is crucial in providing that foundation to giving a good presentation. So I hope this phase was beneficial to you. We have 3 more to go. So I look forward to talking to you about it next time on Leadership Roll Call.